The title of this is Biden's Blunder. Can we look up that word blunder? Let me look it up. I looked up it. Oh, here, it just happens to pop up right here. I looked this up earlier this morning. The word blunder, Biden's blunder, as a verb, blunder, a quotation mark, means to make a mistake through carelessness, ignorance. Can we put that on the screen? Our producer's good. I'll send you a picture of it. Blunder means to make mistake through carelessness, ignorance, stupidity. For an example, I blundered during a job interview. This is so pathetic. Joe Biden, he is on a job interview right now. He wants us to all vote for him to keep his job. Let me go look at the next definition. Blunder can also mean to move in an awkward or confused way. For example, I could hear him blundering. I've heard Joe Biden blundering so much. But here's what I think. In my opinion, they're not a sponsor. If Joe Biden was here, would say, they don't fill the can up all the way anymore. That's what he said with Snickers. He got a Snickers bar and it was smaller. And he got a bag of chips and it wasn't full. He said inflation is because them people are making me look bad. They're putting less chips in the bag and the Snicker bars are smaller. And there's a half a can of Coke. Well, they're doing that. So he blames businesses who are trying to survive for the economy. Let me say that again. To make a mistake through carelessness, ignorance, or stupidity. Well, he's done a lot of blundering. I will respect the office, but I have what is called freedom of speech. And don't get religious on me, but I'm a preacher, and I look at what's happening behind the scenes in the spirit realm. I want to tell you, I watched the State of the Union address. I've watched a lot of them. I make it my duty to be an educated voter. I am very patriotic, I have a series on YouTube that soon will come off because it's going to be on flash drive soon or pay-per-view. I want to go biblical. I don't know how this got in me, but I love God as a child. As a matter of fact, he called me from my mother's womb. Not what she called me, but he called me. And I had to make a decision to go from called to chosen and pass some tests. Not that he needed to know if I would pass the test or not, but I needed to know I could pass the test, and others needed to know. So I believe in voting for God. It was said, one nation under God. The question is, what God do they want now? I believe in God the Father, God the Son, God Holy Spirit. I believe in the Trinity. You might be oneness. I believe in Trinity. Don't let that stumble for you. I believe the Bible that says, when you do good, you get good. I believe all the promises in the Bible. I believe that God is not a man that he should lie. I believe that seed time and harvest, the scriptures, are just as true as John 3:16. I believe from Genesis to maps. This is the authoritative, infallible, written word of God. My Bible tells me, have faith in God. It also says, without faith in God, it's impossible to please him. He's my elder brother. He's my comforter. He's my father. He's my creator. I want to please him. I want the day to come when I'm in heaven and hear him say, well done. I want that. But I want to see other people blessed. My grandfather and his two brothers, my great uncles, they served in World War I. By the way, you want to order the flash drive. I'll tell you how to get it. What's the name of it? Freedom from the Jezebel Influence. What is it? It can be a spirit, person, principality, or it can be a principality over places like Washington, D.C., etc. The flash drive will help you learn more about it. But here's what I came to say. My grandfather got deathly sick because of the chemicals in the wall. His brother, my great uncle, died in that war. His other brother lost his leg in that war. My uncles, that was World War I. My uncle served in World War II. They got all kinds of medals. Uncle Joey, Uncle Dominic, and others. My cousin served in the Korean War. My nephews served in Afghanistan, Iraq. I served my 6 years. We served on the principles that our forefathers birthed this country for, because they wanted a nation under God and not be controlled like the political socialist countries they came from. They came, they established the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, the Senate, the Congress, the Supreme Court. I saw blundering by, what's his name, Biden? I saw him rebuke the Supreme Court and embarrass them in front of 60 million viewers because they reversed Roe versus Wade. And he promised to turn around and get it back, and made them look like fools. He didn't tell the whole story. They turned it over to the state where it belonged, and the people in that state can vote for what they want on that subject. The Supreme Court, when they go into the State of the Union, have to smile and shake his hands when he comes in. But then they sit there with their robes, stoic, cannot make expression. They cannot make an expression like they agreeing with him on a statement or disagreeing. They had to stay there in bondage and take the insult. I have never seen a president publicly embarrass the Supreme Justices of the United States of America. A State of the Union address is to include people. A lot of people voted for Biden because he was going to bring stability. He was going to bring unity. He was going to make sense of things. He was not like Trump, rude and crude and blah, blah, blah. Oh, no. Trump, they said, if he got elected, we would have a war. He would cause a war. We had wars with Biden, 2 going on right now. We had wars with Clinton. We had wars with Bush. We had not one war. with Trump. He stopped wars. Brought peace to the Middle East like no other president did, and kept his promise to Israel like no other president did, and brought the embassy back to Jerusalem, preparing for the coming of the Lord. Fought for Israel like nobody ever did that I know of, president. Bush said he did, Bush wanted to, but they wanted to try to take property away from Israel and give it to the enemies. Trump stood up for them, and his son-in-law. The State of the Union address should be, that after you watch the State of the Union address, you should be left with hope. He heard me. The Senate heard me, the Congress, my representatives, they're hearing me. There's hope. It did not do that. The State of the Union address should be designed, and I'm not a politician, but I got common sense, which many of them lack. Common sense is sanctified wisdom. Wisdom is, can we put that on the screen? Wisdom is sanctified common sense. I don't think a lot of them got no common sense. The money, the money, the money, the money, the money, hungry for money and hungry for name and fame. It should be designed when we come in there to say, glad you're here. Here's what I want to do. I want to bring you up to date on the accomplishments that's happened for the past 12 months. And I want to tell you what I'd like to see happen for the next 12 months. And I would like us to all to come together to accomplish this goal to keep America great. And it should include the people who didn't vote for you. It should include the people who didn't like you. It should include the people who don't agree with you. And we should leave there feeling there's hope for America. There is a sense of unity. It should not be a political rally of a screaming man telling people off, trying to save his job. When the President of the United States comes in, first of all, it's a thing called respect. In all my years of watching the State of the Union address, I never saw one president late. Came on time. And they came in and they announced, the president is in the chamber. And it usually comes down the aisle where it's people on his side. If it's Republican, he's on the friendly side. Democrat, on the front, because everybody wants to show their picture with the president, sign my autograph, and he comes down the aisle. And he's supposed to approach the podium. And he's supposed to give his speech. Whoever prepared that speech, I don't know, to the vice president, which was Harris, or to the Speaker of the House, was Mike Johnson. He gave them that. He turned his back to the Speaker of the House and he started speaking. Was not supposed to be. The Speaker of the House is in charge of that chamber. The only way a president can have that honor to address the Union is by invitation of the Speaker of the House. When you're invited by the Speaker, he shows you respect whether he voted for you or likes you or not. And the Speaker of the House said, I introduce to you the President of the United States. He never gave the Speaker a chance to say that. He said, I'm in charge here. I don't need your support. It was rude. It was crude. And he started talking. I don't know how many drinks of coffee he had, but here was the point he was trying to make. Carelessness, ignorance, stupidity, blubbering like you're on a job interview. Blunder in an awkward or confused way. For example, I could hear him blundering. His blundering a lot of time was by him yelling and screaming and telling people off. He told off the people who make Snickers because the bar is smaller. He told off the people that made chips because it's a smaller bag. And he blamed them for the state of the economy. Not that the fact that everything costs so much more today. It costs a family of $1,000 more a month for groceries and to survive. Interest rates went from 3% to 7 or 8%. 30 times to fact check, it was proven he lied. I did not want to watch the we were on a conference call with people in this room. We started at 8 o'clock, and I said, I want to stop by 9 because I have to watch the State of the Union address, but I don't want to because I know I'm going to be hearing a lot of lies. 30 times it was proven he told an untruth. 15 times he blamed Trump without mentioning his name. It was not an address to the Union. Here's what he was dealing with. Everybody was saying he's too old. He's too feeble. He gets on a thing and he don't know who he's going. He's shaking hands with nobody there. He's falling on the steps on the airplane. We have to use lower step. He's walking slow. Does he have a mental part? Is he too old? Does he have dementia? And they were afraid he can't stand up for Trump in a debate. Trump's a tough guy. You look feeble. Trump's almost your age, but he looks strong. You're in bed at 9, and Trump is in court in the daytime and having a rally at night, flying from here to there. We don't know if you're too old to do this and who's going to replace you. The laughing lady? What are we going to do? We want to replace him, and he knew that. So his whole point was to go out to show, I'm a tough guy. I could stand up to that tyrant Trump. I can debate him. We're going to do it my way or the highway. And that's what it ended up with. A lot of people took the highway from one state to another. And a lot of people took the highway to come into this country. Illegal immigrants. We was on the way here, Jennifer and I. She went into Wawa and I was gassing up the car. And one of them came up to me. I don't understand it, Patty. He had brand new shoes on. He had brand new clothes on. He had a brand new backpack. He had a brand new bicycle. He couldn't speak English, and on the phone, it was translating from Spanish to English, asking me for money, right in my little suburban where I live. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. Vets struggle. I am a vet. I am thankful that I did. I have no regrets. I have benefits being a vet. My wife has benefits. My children have benefits. Do you know when I really started getting benefits from being a vet? You know when things changed in clinics for veterans? When Trump changed it. Do you know when things changed for the military? When Trump came in. Today, they have to send a National Guard and reserves to war zones because not enough young people want to be in the military anymore. They're offering them $50,000 to sign up, and they don't want to unless they can get a sex change. Here's what happened. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be. He wanted to prove to his base and the Arabs in America that he was going to fight for them and get their vote. He didn't cater to the voters that, what's her name, Nikki Haley had. He didn't go after them. He didn't go after any. He hurt himself. Mr. President Biden, you hurt yourself with the State of the Union address to try to prove that you could be a tough guy and you could tell people off and you're not afraid of Trump and you're going to fight for the Palestinians more than Israel. And I stood up to, the prime minister, I told him, ceasefire. You got no business, tell them nothing. Because if they did that in America, we would have put a boot up their rear end. And now we're in the danger. The terrorist rate or warning in America is as high as it was on September 11, 2001, because we don't know who's here. How about the Speaker of the House? Kamala Harris is here. And over here is Mike Johnson. It took everything they had, that poor guy. He was biting his tongue, biting his cheek. He had to be respectful. But I was proud of him because so many times when Biden lied and was telling things that, Mike Johnson was going, I can't take this no more. This is not true. I want to stand up and shout. And then they threw out and arrested the Gold Star parent, whose son or daughter, I don't know which now, was killed when they left Afghanistan. What kind of commander-in-chief brings the troops out before you bring the people out? And 13 of our soldiers died, and we left $82 billion worth of nice equipment there so the enemy can use it against us or sell it against us. I am not being disrespectful. I'm saying, a preacher needs to say it, not just the politicians. There are politicians that are conservative, that are doing more to fight for this country and our rights to preach this gospel more than most preachers. Because seeker-friendly and off-balance grace churches are destroying this country. Now you got me started on that, I'm finished. A preacher friend of mine 20 years ago said, seeker-friendly churches are destroying this country. A preacher that I and all of you should leave, David Wilkerson, warned us in the 70s, beware of seeker-friendly churches. Oh, what don't you like? You don't like me talking about sin? I don't go talk about sin no more. What do you like? You don't like me talking about same-sex marriage? I won't talk about that no more. What don't you like? You don't like me saying that homosexuality is an abomination? I won't talk about that no more. Oh, what is it you like? You like loud music, humor? Okay, well, here's what we have to do. We're going to cut down my speech and preaching time and have more skits and more singing. We'll mention Jesus once in a while. We'll give people opportunity to have Jesus as Lord and Savior, as if there's many ways to the Father. There's one way, and it's straight and narrow, and it's to the Father by the Spirit through the Son. By the Spirit through the Son to the Father, and everybody has a cross to bear. Today we have seeker-friendly churches, loosey-goosey grace churches, and they're packed with thousands of people getting their ears tickled, and the preacher's getting fat and fancy with his books and his videos and television and his houses. Well, the people in the church are still confused, and nobody leaves there changed because they didn't want to be made to feel uncomfortable because they might not come back. So they're filling seats instead of heaven. Why does that affect us? Because voters see it. Isn't it a disgrace? When I went in the military, I never thought I would see the day where people would protest by the tens of thousands against Israel and hate Israel and come against Israel more than the terrorists that attacked Israel. I don't understand why anybody would want to support that cult that came in and attacked Israel, minding their own business on October 7, 2023, bathed their babies worshiping their God, raped their woman. Think about this. What are you being taught by your professors in school? How did they get there? Open borders, bring them into a community. And here's what happens. They get in petitions of politics, people vote for them, then they change laws, and they want to head through a Sharia law. They want to bring this country towards socialism. So what do you do? Bring the people in who didn't fight for their country, didn't fight for their rights. They ran for their country. Then they try to make this country like the country they came from and think they have a right. Who's giving them the new shoes? Who's giving them those new clothes? Who gave that guy the new bicycle? Who gave him that cell phone to shove it in my face and ask for money while I'm getting gas that I paid for? That's higher now than it was 4 years ago. Turning cities into slums. And you, Mr. President, got a right to embarrass a Supreme Court justice, whether you agree with them or not? How about the other president that said this is no longer a Christian country? How about the ones that want to tax you to a death and they want to make the minimum wage $20 to $50 an hour? And then you complain that the hamburger is smaller? And then you shut the country down with the virus? Shut the churches down, shut the businesses down, and then when it opens up again, you added 100,000 more jobs when you took away 500,000. No. Trump had several State of the Union addresses. He never acted like that. Neither did Bush, neither did Clinton, neither did Obama, neither did the rest of them. Biden was not there to bring the country in unity. He was in there to fight for his job and to show his support. I could tell Trump, for you, you like it when I do that. Oh yeah, I'm going to stand up against Israel and I'm going to fight for you. I told them cease fire. We're going to build ports there and feed the Muslims. I deserve your votes. Feeding people's ego. So I'm calling this Biden's blunder. Share it with everybody you can. Now, if you want to support this ministry, there's a principality over regions called Jezebel. And it can be a spirit, a person, or personality. It's different than the narcissist, but just as bad. It destroys churches and ministries and ministry and countries. It works in conjunction with a python, Ahab, and Antichrist spirit. We just did a flash drive teaching of 21 teachings in here. We did it years ago on cassette tape. Then we started to do it on DVD. God showed us another way. I could put it in my phone. I could listen to it in my car, through my phone, or through the speakers. Smart TV, a laptop, desktop, whatever. What a day we live in. You know why? Because people have imagination. The Creator gave them that information as we were born in the image and likeness of God. And some use their gifts, talent, ability to feed themselves, feed their ego. There is so much injustice that's taken place in this country, America. If we want to save it, we need revival. But it has to start in the pulpit. Because when people go to the polls to vote, they vote against what they should be taught in church. They see that you have transgenders dancing and teaching children in the White House. They see that you have transgenders in charge of very important offices. They see that you approve same-sex marriage. They see that you want late-term abortion and you want to sell baby body parts for the money or kill them for the money to sell their body parts. They see that. They see that you're soft on crime. So why should I work? I'll just steal. I don't have to worry about getting caught. The judge will let me out again. Oh, yeah, I could see how they use the FBI, the justice system, and they use the government to attack their opponents. I don't have to play fair. I can play just like they do. So when they go to the poll, they vote that way because it was allowed in church, and then they bring it into the government, and you wonder why a whole nation is headed for hell. More preachers need to say it. Get the flash drive. For an offering of $120 to God through this ministry. And I'll preach more. I'm doing a whole new series on things to consider before you vote. We got to save this country. Nobody, no president, was ever mistreated as much as Trump. I'll leave you with this thought. If you knew that the Russian hoax was a joke created by Clinton, the Korean thing was all a fake when they tried to impeach Trump. If you knew that was all a lie, none of it was true. And if you knew about the Hunter thing, and if you knew that what the money deals the Bidens made, if you would have known that before the last election, would there have been a difference? Can you tell me how Trump could go any place and draw a crowd of tens of thousands of people, and Biden can hide in his basement, and how that election went the way it did? Can you tell me how Bush said that that Saddam Hussein had nuclear warfare, and we went in there and we shocked and awed and destroyed the country and have immunity? Can you tell me how Obama can target and innocent people got killed and have immunity? Can you tell me how Clinton can wipe out all those emails and make false charges against Trump, have immunity? Can you tell me how Clinton could and have immunity? And all of those presidents have immunity, but you're saying President Trump can't? You all better think about what's happening in this country. We wrestle not flesh and blood, but spirits, principalities, spirit wickedness in high places, rules in darkness. We're going to fight it in prayer. We're going to fight it by voting biblical, by being conservative, capitalistic, patriotic voters. We're going to do it in the polls. And we're going to take this country back for the glory of God. And when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Oh yeah, inflation will go down, people will get jobs, all the nonsense will stop. But here's what happened. Well, Trump didn't keep his promise when he said he would drain the swamp. He drained it low enough for you to see the vomits that are in it now. We got to go to the polls. Vote biblical, conservative. Don't fight God. You can't win. Now, no matter how it turns out, if you vote right, God's going to protect you. But don't vote wrong and want ungodly things, but then when you have a need, you're going to ask God to help you. We got an election coming up. Conservatives need to win the Senate, the Congress, and the House to turn this country around. I said to God, what will happen if that don't happen? If they vote for 4 more years of this? God said to me, they will get what they deserve. Think about it. Selah. See you on the next video.